Hey there, it's Neymar Jr., and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this amazing podcast channel. Get ready for an exciting journey as we explore my life, starting from my humble beginnings in Brazil to achieving worldwide recognition as a football legend. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it and uncover the incredible chapters of my life.
All right, let's dive into this pile of articles we've got here, all about Neymar.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say you're a fan of the beautiful game,
definitely.
and you really want to go deeper than just those highlight reel goals
For sure.
to really understand what makes this guy tick.
Exactly.
What really defines Neymar's legacy?
Mm-hmm.
How's he dealt with the pressure and scrutiny that comes with being a global superstar?
Right.
And ultimately, is he one of the all-time greats?
Huge questions.
Or a talent who's maybe kind of left us wanting a little bit more?
I mean, we've got a lot to work with here.
We do. Well, let's start back at the beginning
Okay.
with that almost explosive start at Santos.
Yeah.
It's wild to think he was already being compared to like legends,
Yeah.
Robinho and Pele, when he was just 18.
It's crazy.
I mean, what set him apart even then?
Well, I think what set him apart was just that raw, like, instinctive talent that he had,
Yeah.
you know? And I think he was bringing his own style
Yeah.
to the game, like,
Yeah.
and scoring 5 goals in a single match at 18, like he did against Guarani in the
yeah.
Brazilian Cup.
Almost unheard of
Yeah, exactly.
at that age. You know,
That's nuts.
you also have to wonder, like, could that kind of early success be a double-edged sword?
Yeah,
Thinking about those on-field theatrics we saw sometimes,
sure.
and that controversial incident he had with his manager at Santos.
Oh, yeah.
Was that just youthful energy, or was it maybe a sign of things to come?
I think Tim Vickery described that. You know, he's a journalist, follows South American football really closely for years, described him as sleek and skillful,
Okay.
able to beat the defender on either side, full of tricks he can put to productive use.
Right.
And I think that really captures that electrifying presence he has on the pitch,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah.
But I think that passion
Yeah.
could sometimes boil over,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And was it immaturity?
Yeah.
Or was it the pressure he was already facing?
And then boom, the move to Barcelona,
Huge.
playing alongside Messi,
Yeah.
that had to be a whirlwind.
The transfer saga was nuts.
Oh yeah.
Like, it wasn't just about football, you know?
Right.
Massive financial deals,
Yeah.
legal battles, really opened my eyes to the cutthroat world
Right.
of these high-stakes transfers.
Yeah.
But once he landed at Barcelona, he delivered.
La Liga titles, Copa del Rey victories,
Yeah.
and of course, like the ultimate prize, the UEFA Champions League.
I mean, winning the Champions League
Yeah.
puts him in a really elite group of players who've won both the Copa Libertadores and the Champions League.
Wow.
Those are two of the most prestigious club tournaments in the world.
Yeah, you're talking about performing on the biggest stages.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget the MSN trio,
Oh, come on, yeah.
Messi, Suarez, and Neymar.
Legendary.
That was an attacking force unlike anything we'd seen before.
That was magical.
How did their styles just click so well?
Well, you've got Messi, this genius playmaker, always a step ahead.
Like,
Suarez, the clinical finisher, a true predator in the box.
yeah.
And Neymar, with his speed and unpredictability, just creating chaos on the wings.
Yeah.
And you know what I noticed?
What's that?
Their positioning and movement were so fluid.
Yeah,
They just clicked.
you really did.
Yeah.
It's like they were reading each other's minds almost.
Almost, yeah.
But even with all that success, I keep coming back to this question.
Okay.
Could Neymar ever truly escape Messi's shadow? Was that part of what led him to PSG?
You know, I think that ambition to be the guy was definitely a factor.
Yeah.
But the move to PSG was also about Neymar pushing his boundaries, I think.
Yeah.
Testing his limits. Right.
He wanted to build his own legacy,
Right.
prove he could lead a team to glory on his own terms.
It was a record-breaking transfer too, right?
Absolutely.
Like a huge statement.
Astronomical price tag,
Yeah.
which only amplified the pressure for him to deliver.
Right.
And while he did achieve domestic dominance,
Mhm.
multiple League One titles,
Yeah.
that elusive Champions League title with PSG just never materialized.
Never quite got there.
No.
And then there were the injuries, which seemed to plague him
Ooh,
throughout his time in Paris.
the recurring injuries definitely took their toll.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to maintain peak performance and
Mhm.
consistency
Right.
when you're constantly battling setbacks like that.
Yeah.
And it fueled the critics, didn't it?
Totally.
This narrative that he was fragile, unreliable,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. And it wasn't just the injuries, was it?
Right.
Like the strained relationship with the fans, the constant media scrutiny,
Yeah.
this perception that maybe his attitude,
And his on-field antics overshadowed his talent.
it felt like Paris, for all its glamour,
Yeah.
was a pressure cooker for him.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a fishbowl almost.
Yeah.
A very expensive fishbowl.
Very expensive fishbowl. Exactly.
But a fishbowl nonetheless.
But a fishbowl?
Yeah.
I mean, he was carrying the weight of expectation
Oh, yeah.
that very few players ever experience.
Absolutely.
But we can't talk about Neymar without talking about his journey with the Seleção,
Right, right.
the Brazilian national team.
It's a whole other layer to his story.
It is. It's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Making his senior debut at 18,
Wow.
winning the Confederations Cup on home soil in 2013.
Oh, that's big.
It seemed like destiny was calling, you know?
Right. Like it was all lining up.
Yeah.
And he won the Golden Ball
Yeah.
as the tournament's best player.
That's right.
It's given to the player deemed to have been the most outstanding.
Wow.
Talk about a meteoric rise.
Yeah. Incredible.
But then the heartbreak of the 2014 World Cup.
Oh, man.
That injury in the quarterfinal against Colombia,
I know.
devastating, not just for Neymar, but for an entire nation.
It's like that injury became a symbol
Yes.
of Brazil's like unfulfilled hopes.
Yes.
Their collective drama.
Absolutely.
It was rough.
It was tough to watch.
Yeah.
He did come back to score a redemption goal in the 2018 World Cup.
Okay.
But even that tournament was surrounded by controversy. You know,
Yeah.
those accusations of diving, exaggerating fouls.
I remember.
It felt like the scrutiny just never let up.
It's like he became a lightning rod
Yeah.
for criticism.
For sure.
And remember, he was still relatively young, trying to navigate the immense pressure of being Brazil's talisman.
Right.
The heir apparent to legends like Pelé and Ronaldo.
Huge shoes to fill.
It really is.
No doubt about it.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how those perceptions,
They really stick with you.
they stick.
But there was one bright spot, right?
Oh,
2016, the Olympic gold medal.
huge.
That had to be a massive moment for him
Absolutely.
and for Brazilian football.
Historic achievement.
Yeah.
Brazil's first Olympic gold in men's football.
That's right.
And Neymar played a pivotal role scoring that winning penalty
Wow.
in the final against Germany.
Amazing.
A moment of pure joy.
I bet.
Just a release of all that pent-up pressure and expectation.
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
So when you look at his overall record with the national team, it's complicated.
it is.
I mean, Brazil's all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, he's got the stats.
It's got the stats.
But that World Cup glory,
Yeah.
it's eluded him.
It has.
It's almost Shakespearean, isn't it?
It really is.
The immense talent,
Yeah.
the flashes of brilliance,
You've seen it?
but also the heartbreak, you know,
Yeah.
the unfulfilled potential.
Right. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
How much of that pressure,
I know.
the weight of a nation's hopes,
Yeah.
ultimately impacted his performance?
It's a huge burden to carry.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a question that follows him everywhere.
For sure.
How do you measure greatness?
Right?
Is it just about trophies or is there something more?
It's a tough one.
It is a tough question.
And it's not just about what happens on the pitch, right?
Right.
Like Neymar's global brand, his
Yep.
endorsements, his presence in pop culture, it all adds another layer to the conversation.
That double-edged sword of fame.
Yeah,
Incredible wealth and influence,
for sure.
but also constant scrutiny,
Yeah.
that pressure to maintain a certain image.
He's been criticized for his lifestyle,
Oh, yeah.
his choices, his perceived lack of focus.
Sure.
But how much of that is fair?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know? Like, how do you separate the purser from the persona?
Exactly.
Especially when you're living your life under a microscope.
Right. I feel like we keep circling back to this idea of pressure and expectation.
It's a constant theme.
It has been a constant theme
Yeah.
throughout his career.
Absolutely.
But what about now?
Yeah.
His recent move to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia
Interesting.
surprised a lot of people.
It did.
It did.
I think it reflects a larger trend in the sport.
Yeah.
The growing influence of leagues outside of Europe.
It's a new frontier,
It is.
and it's attracting some of the biggest names.
Yeah, and for Neymar,
Yeah.
maybe it's a chance to step away from the European spotlight,
Yeah, get out of that fishbowl a little bit.
rediscover his love for the game in a new environment.
Yeah. Fresh start.
You know,
Yeah.
a clean slate.
Well, he's joining a club that has big ambitions,
So they do.
and they've already proven themselves domestically.
Yeah, Al Hilal just won the Saudi Pro League title.
This season,
Yeah.
they're hungry for success,
Yeah.
and they're not afraid to invest in top talent.
They're making moves,
They are.
you know?
But there has been a major setback.
Oh, yeah.
That recent ACL injury.
Huge blow.
A huge blow, especially after he seemed to be finding his form again.
I know.
A ruptured ACL and meniscus. Serious injuries for any athlete.
Especially a footballer.
Yeah, who relies on that speed and agility.
Agility, yeah.
It's going to be a long road to recovery.
Yeah, tough one.
Al Hilal's already deregistered him to open up a foreign roster spot,
Oh, wow.
which I think says a lot about the severity of the situation.
It does. It really
a stark reminder
Yeah.
of how fragile a career in professional sports can be.
It really is. So
Yeah.
where does this leave us?
That's the big question.
What does it all mean for Neymar's legacy?
Is he one of the greats?
Easy?
He's achieved remarkable things, I'll give him that.
No doubt.
Multiple league titles,
Yeah.
domestic cups,
Mm-hmm.
a Champions League trophy,
Fell there.
countless goals.
Can't argue with the numbers.
And he's Brazil's all-time leading scorer.
That's right.
He's inspired a generation of players
For sure.
with his style and flair.
Absolutely. But the shadow of unfulfilled potential.
It lingers, doesn't it? It really does.
The Ballon d'Or has eluded him,
It has.
and he hasn't led Brazil to World Cup glory.
Not yet.
It's tempting to just label him as either a hero or a villain,
Right.
but the reality is much more nuanced.
It is.
He's a complex figure,
Definitely.
a player who has given us moments of breathtaking brilliance
Oh, absolutely.
and moments of frustration.
For sure.
He's a walking contradiction in some ways.
You could say that.
You know,
He certainly has left an indelible mark
he has.
on the world of football,
No question.
and his journey's far from over.
Exactly.
Exactly. And for you, dear listener,
Yes.
we want to leave you with this final thought.
Okay, hit me.
How much does off-field behavior impact your perception of an athlete's legacy?
That's a good question.
It's a question that, goes beyond the world of football.
It does.
It touches on broader issues of fame,
Right.
scrutiny,
Yeah.
the human condition.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. It really does make you think.
It makes you think about how social media has amplified this whole thing.
Oh, for sure.
Like athletes today
Yeah.
live their lives in such a public way.
Yeah. Every move is
Every move's analyzed,
scrutinized.
scrutinized, judged.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different world.
And it's not just the scrutiny,
Yeah.
it's the speed at which information travels.
Yeah. One misstep,
Yeah. One.
one quote taken out of context
What's context?
goes viral in an instant.
It's crazy.
It really
It's
is.
like a pressure cooker.
It is a pressure cooker.
That's almost impossible to escape.
I wonder how that's impacting these young athletes coming up through the ranks today.
Yeah, they're growing up in a world where everything is
Everything's documented.
documented. Yeah.
Everything's judged.
And judged. Yeah.
Different landscape.
Different ball game.
It is.
Stakes are higher.
The pressure's more intense.
Oh, yeah.
But getting back to Neymar specifically,
Okay.
I have to admire his resilience.
He's weathered some storms, that's for sure.
He's been through it,
The criticism, the injuries, the setback,
and he's still out there
still going.
pushing
For
boundaries.
sure.
And there's that undeniable joy
It,
that he brings to the
when
game.
he's at his best, it's like magic, poetry in motion.
It really is.
A magician with the ball,
The way he could just
like dribble through defense,
dribble through defenders like they're not even there.
makes something out of nothing.
It's mesmerizing.
It's beautiful to watch.
Your art. Pure art.
I think that's what people forget sometimes.
I think so too.
Amidst all the noise,
The drama.
the drama, he's a generational talent,
He is.
a player who has changed the way we look at the game.
And even though that move to Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
might seem like a step back to some,
to some.
I think it could be an opportunity
It's a chance
to enter.
to redefine his legacy on his own terms.
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see what he does next.
Well, I'll be watching
Me too.
for sure.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into Neymar's career,
Yeah.
I'm just struck by his complexity.
He's not easy to define.
He's not easy to categorize.
It's
He's
contradiction.
brilliant and flawed,
Inspiring and frustrating.
but never ever boring.
That's for sure.
That's what makes him so captivating, right?
Like so.
He keeps us guessing,
Yeah.
keeps us talking.
Always keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Always.
You know,
Yeah, and ultimately that's what makes him a true icon, right?
I think you're right.
He transcends the sport,
He does.
provokes debate,
Yeah.
inspires awe.
And forces us to confront our own biases, our own definitions of greatness.
And maybe, just maybe,
Yeah,
that's his greatest legacy of all.
maybe you're right.
Thanks for tuning in to my Life Journey podcast. I'm grateful for your support and for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can be part of this inspiring community. Your feedback means the world to me. See you next time with more captivating stories. Keep spreading the positive vibes.